from wherever you are watching us. This is KBC Channel 1's Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwi. It's a very beautiful morning, the 5th of June. Uko aje? Unaendeleaje? It's always a pleasure to have you on board, and thank you for choosing a Good Morning Kenya to start your day. Now, today the program is very packed with various conversations that centers around various issues. And the first conversation we are going to have, we are going to talk about the technical, vocational and educational training, or the TVETs, which is celebrating 100 years since inception. And in studio, I'll be speaking to Principal Secretary in the State Department for TVETs in the Ministry of Education, that is Dr. Esther Muoria, and also Stanley Maindi, who is the Director of Technical Services at the Kenya National Qualification Authority. So you want to tune in to that conversation. And also later on, I'll be having a rather interesting conversation that centers around tax. We'll be talking about the tax amnesty that was introduced last year in the 2023 Finance Act. We'll be looking at that, and that amnesty is started running from last year. That is the 1st of September, and is coming to a close on the 30th of this month. So we'll be looking into that, and I'll be speaking to Mr. Cyrus Arori, who is a tax expert from the Kenya Revenue Authority. I'll be speaking to him in detail to understand this aspect of tax amnesty, who is eligible, how you can benefit from it. So you want to tune in and find out more. But before that, Vivian is in studio with me. Good morning.
I'm really looking forward to listen to that conversation on tax amnesty. And so do I know that there are so many other people who will be looking forward to that conversation. Good morning. My name is Vivian Degwa, and welcome to Good Morning Kenya. This being the 5th, as Mike has mentioned, it is also a day where we get to celebrate World Environmental Day. What are you doing for the environment? You know, make sure that today you at least do something nice for the environment. Something as little as ensuring you don't litter, or ensuring that you clean around your area or space, or better yet, just try and plant a tree. Then you'll be doing justice for our environment, which is an important component for each and every one of us, because that is where we live in. And for that conversation, actually to commemorate that and to celebrate that, I'll be having a conversation on preserving the planet. And joining me for that topic will be Dr. David Dawida, and he is a science researcher, Go Green Foundation. And then we'll also be having Dr. Yang Tello, who is the founder and chairman, Go Green Foundation. You definitely want to tune in just to know how to take care of this amazing place that gets to host us, because we are hosted in this environment. And then we'll have a different conversation later on, and this one is also quite an interesting one. Today's show is quite packed up with interesting conversations, and this will be on belly fat. Yes, you heard that right. We'll be looking at the types of belly fat. I see. I've seen Hashim smiling. Yeah, types of belly fat and how to get rid of the belly fat if you want to. That is, we're not forcing anyone to lose their belly.
It's very interesting, because I didn't know there are types to belly fat. So I'm looking forward to finding out more.
Yes,
about
and
this.
Nelly Courier will be the lady in studio just getting us through that conversation, so that we can get to understand and you can get to know what type of belly fat do you have. Thank you for staying tuned with us, and thank you for starting off your day with us. Right now, Hashim, you were smiling. What do you feel about your belly? What type is it?
Interesting conversation there. And why are you fat shaming me?
No, I didn't.
Good morning, Vivian and Mike. And of course, it's a pleasure being here once more. And interesting conversations that we'll be having there, especially from Mike, with TVET institutions.
Yes.
You know, yesterday there was a parliamentary committee meeting on the same matter. Now, given that you'll have the PS, I think that is a good question to ask in terms of dispersing these students and ensuring that they get what they require. And of course, course, with the tax amnesty, you know now we're talking about the Finance Bill 2024, that the public hearings are ongoing. Those conversations will be coming your way in just a few. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Let me take you through the stories that are making headlines here in the country and beyond our borders. We start at the corridors of justice, where Ian Ngige Njoroge, the 19-year-old captured on a video assaulting a police officer along Committee Road, has been formally charged. Njoroge was charged at the Milimani's Magistrates Court for causing actual bodily harm, resisting arrest and a robbery with violence. He was also produced before a traffic court where he faced 3 counts of causing obstruction and carrying excess passengers. Ruth Wamboi with the details of the young man's ordeal.
This is the video that landed the first-year student at Technical University of Kenya in court. Tuesday, Ian was taken from one court to the other, where he was charged with 5 counts in total. Appearing before trial magistrate Ben Makehubi, Ian denied 2 counts of robbery with violence against a police officer, Jacob Ogendo.
And today I want to ask the court to remember there is a victim. Just because Yona is a police officer does not make him any less of a victim. Yona, these 3 days we are seeking, Yona, speak into the rights of the victim.
According to the prosecution, Njoroge is charged with robbing a police officer, a police communication gadget and a phone, Samsung brand worth 50,000 shillings. However, his defense counsels Duncan Okach, Kene Chesa and Vincent Lempa strongly opposed the charge of robbery with violence, saying the ODPP has applied a non-existent law in charging the young man.
He is a victim of state indolence, laziness, misconception of the law, and inefficiency in the police force.
2016 EKRL, Your Honor, declared section 296(2) of the Penal Code as unconstitutional.
The best way to move the court, let them file a formal application saying that these charges before you are unconstitutional, and we will respond.
His counsels had argued that the accused had been tortured by the police and requires urgent medical attention.
Still young, still innocent, and the parents are in court, Your Honor. If you grant him, because it's not him who will be punished, it's the parents who will raise the cash bail.
Prosecuting counsels led by Virginia Kariuki and James Gashoka had applied for the accused to be held for 3 more days, but they were granted only 1 day.
I think it's tried to, and I think it's, you have rightly pointed out, without those cogent, very formidable grounds, the court cannot continue detaining the accused person. So let's wait until tomorrow we see that affidavit, and then we can argue the same tomorrow. So I'll not grant them the 3 days they have sought, I'll grant them only 1 day. So we'll come back tomorrow.
Ian Ngige Njoroge was also produced before a traffic court, where he denied the traffic charges before Senior Principal Magistrate Susan Nanzoshe. Despite being given a 60,000 cash bail by the traffic court, Ian Njoroge will remain in police custody until tomorrow, when the criminal court will decide on his robbery with violence offense bail application. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani Law Court.
And from the Milimani Law Courts, let's head over to the corridors of the August House, where the implementers of the Maize flour subsidy program for the financial year 22-23 may have colluded to defraud the taxpayer over 7 billion shillings. This is according to the National Assembly's Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock, following an inquiry on the program that was expected to reduce the cost of maize flour. In its report, the committee singled out the inconsistencies in the implementation of the program, which they concluded showed no value for money.
On the other hand, Honourable Speaker, only 17.85% of the maize flour that was produced by the Cereal Millers Association was sold directly to the consumers. This is what we were able to trace as a committee, in the sense that only 9.8% was sold through what we call the van sales, the marked van sales or the branded van.
So from our investigations, the designers of the program, which is the Ministry of Agriculture, the state actors, together with the large-scale millers, actually colluded to defraud this country of over 7.6 billion.
Speaker, this matter, this Maize subsidy program was actually designed to steal public funds. And in a situation where programs are designed to steal public funds, I think as a House, we need to fast track the recommendation so that action is taken. When it came to matters of payment, Honorable Speaker, some millers were actually favored as opposed to others. And you wonder, in a public arrangement, why would one want to favor a miller in terms of payment and not pay others? To me, these are the issues, Honorable Speaker.
Now, the fluid nature of the proposals in the finance bill touching on the changes in taxes to money transfer services and insurance has irked stakeholders in the sector. The stakeholders who appeared before the Finance Committee to present their views on the Finance Bill 2024 cautioned the proposed increase in excise duty will scare away investors seeking to inject funds into the business, as well as create an unconducive environment for business operators.
Various stakeholders kept their date with the Finance Committee seeking to add their voice on the proposed Finance Bill 2024. Here, they expressed their reservation on certain clauses in the bill, warning they will be counterproductive to the economy.
By increasing taxes year in, year out, I think you are causing profuse hemorrhage to private consumption. And private consumption is the engine of production.
So we will be the very first country in the world. We will be setting a record to actually be able to apply both excise and VAT on all financial transactions. And as I've explained, it goes to the very basics of the transactions that we do.
Why are we increasing tax when we are taking away essential services?
The Kenya Bankers Association took issue with a proposal to increase excise duty on fees charged for money transfer services by banks, money transfer agencies and other financial service providers from 15% to 20%.
The government has not been able to find a formula to actually be able to tax the informal sector. So when you push all Kenyans to informality, to cash transactions, we are complicating lives for the country, and I'll also mention that we are grey listed. So that makes life very, very difficult for us to get to the white list.
While on the other hand, lobby group Okoa Uchumi stated that despite the government's elaborate plan to increase the tax burden, they have not reciprocated the same energy towards the fight against the revenue leakages through corruption, illicit trade and money laundering.
And unfortunately, we've not seen very, very strong recommendations for how to reduce the theft, the corruption, the luxury.
And I agree with the stakeholders, what they're saying. We need to do better in terms of management, the predictability of our tax system.
The National Assembly's Finance Committee Chair, Kuria Kimani, assured the public their views will be considered, dismissing claims that the exercise was a public relations gimmick.
And now further afield, Kenya and South Korea have signed a 63 billion shilling concessional development funding on the sidelines of the ongoing Korea-Africa Summit. This includes 30 billion shillings for the implementation of the Konza Digital Media City project. President William Ruto said the project will boost Kenya's digital ecosystem, a key government initiative aimed at expanding the digital and creative economy opportunities for the young people at the Konza Technopolis.
According to President William Ruto, the project will provide an excellent digital media and entertainment ecosystem for research, training and the propagation of new technologies. He commended South Korea for the Economic Innovation Partnership Program, which further supports Konza Technopolis. President Ruto implored South Korean President Yoon to fast-track the implementation of the Kenya-Korea bilateral labor agreement. On his part, President Yoon committed to enhancing of the relations between Kenya and South Korea for the mutual benefit of the citizens of both nations. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Now, members of Parliament want the government to recall admission letters issued to university students expressing concerns over the fee structure. The Committee on Education, in a meeting with Higher Education PS Beatrice Muganda, the COOPS and HELB officials argued the fee structure failed to specify the capitation by government and what was expected to be paid by each parent. The legislators want the fee structure revised to itemize each cost as opposed to blanket figure.
The National Assembly Education Committee engaged the Higher Education Principal Secretary Beatrice Muganda on the new funding model for universities, which they argue is not practical. The MPs taking issue with the fee structure sent by government, calling for a recall of all admission letters.
Give us a proper fee structure and how you are recalling the other one. So that don't come next week telling us about how you want to do it. Come us with the solution so that when you will be working on the placement, the mean testing, the loans and the funding equals to the household fees. And that is what we want from the parent. How much the parent is going to pay in semester 1, semester 2, semester 3.
I will direct universities to withdraw the letters.
Higher Education Loans Board Chief Executive Officer Charles Ringera disclosed they adopted a formula-based allocation criteria that takes into account each student's economic background. Under the new financing model, students from families whose income is below 6,000 shillings will enjoy 95% government financing as compared to those whose household income is in excess of 120,000 shillings, will only get 60% of government support.
The letter from the admission letter from the university is saying, if you require funding, get on www.hef. But then it does not tell you what will that mean. That's what we were thinking. Maybe we can issue now an addendum to say that paragraph, we expand it and say this is how the fees will be calculated.
But students are being, for instance, science students. They probably wanted to go for medicine or engineering, but they're being forced to go for education science because they cannot afford that 600 and something thousand. Are you aware?
The lawmakers want the ministry to reconsider the previous funding model, where funding is pegged on the number of undergraduate students registered on regular program and the type of course.
Now to health matters, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha has come under sharp criticism for allegedly failing to address the ongoing health workers' strike as the clinical officers' strike entered its 65th day today. Now clinical officers, lab technicians, environmental health and public health practitioners marched to Afia House and Parliament buildings to agitate for the rights. This comes as governors alleged mischief by the national government, accusing them of planning to take over the health function by failing to provide funds to counties in a timely fashion to provide health services.
For the 65th day in a row, clinical officers took to the streets of Nairobi, vowing to paralyze services in all health centers until their demands are met. Led by Kenya Union of Clinical Officers Secretary General George Gibore and their union's chair Peterson Washira, the officers accused Health CS Susan Nakhumicha of failing to address their demands.
Today we are here to fight for professional dignity. We are here to fight for professional respect. And that is why we have come out as all the health unions, because our people are being indignified.
The clinical officers held demonstrations at the Ministry of Health headquarters, where they were joined by lab technicians, environmental health and public health practitioners, and universal health coverage service providers.
We saw the Parliament allocate money for absorption of JSS teachers. Because their ministry, their TSC went to Parliament and sought for that money. Why didn't our CS go to seek for money?
This comes as the Council of Governors hit out at the national government, accusing it of a plot to revert health services to the national government by starving county governments of funds.
I think there is a deliberate effort to taint counties as being unable to run the health sector and therefore the push to bring it back to the national government.
And now to business news, where Kenya's total current official development assistance from development partners now stands at 2.6 trillion shillings, supporting 256 ongoing projects. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that despite this, there is a need for more coordination to improve fund absorption rates and project implementation timelines.
During the last Development Partnerships Funding (DPF) meeting held in November 2023, it was revealed that Kenya received a total of about 7 billion shillings in donor funding in 2022, but the absorption rate of grants remained low at 25%, while that of loans at 35%. Fast forward to today, the 2024 edition reveals that despite sealing loopholes, the absorption rate is still a concern, with loans at 62% and grants at 25%.
One is the historical issues that have to do with project design that result in change of scope. When you change scope, it means the project has to slow down a bit.
Already anticipating the idea that every project would need cabinet approval. I can say from the perspective of the United Nations, where we have literally hundreds of projects, the cabinet would be doing nothing else.
The official development assistance report indicates that 10-year projects have a disbursement rate of 61%, while those between 5 to 9 years are at 43%, and 0 to 4 years is 12%. However, Gachagua says multi-sectoral committees are focusing on eradicating issues slowing implementation of projects.
We have reactivated the joint sector working groups, which serve as collaborative dialogue forums on sectoral and thematic issues between the government, development partners, and non-state actors.
Beside coordination, development partners want the government to streamline project processes and match project needs with actual funding so as to address delays in implementation timelines.
We have the opportunity for an open and honest dialogue on what each party needs to do better to increase absorption rates and, most importantly, demonstrate results and impact in the lives of Kenyans.
The Development Partnerships Forum meets twice annually.
And now finally into the world of sports, where the national Rugby Sevens team head coach Kevin Wambua says the team is targeting to medal at this year's Olympic Games in Paris, France, after bouncing back in the World Rugby Sevens Series. Shujaa returned in the country on Tuesday to a heroic welcome after their feat in Madrid, where they beat Germany 33-15 to regain their core status.
Shujaa, who have already qualified for the Olympics, completed their season's aim by getting back into the series they were relegated from last season. Head coach Kevin Wambua, who masterminded Kenya's immediate return to the Elite Series, has now set his eyes on guiding Kenya to a podium finish at this year's Olympic Games in Paris.
It's very achievable, most definitely. Like you say, nothing is impossible. So again, those are conversations we'll have when we sit down, and we'll really focus and see what will help us achieve those, and we'll just work hard to achieve them.
After being relegated last year, Shujaa had to endure a qualification phase that included participation in the HSBC Challenger Series and the promotion playoff held in Madrid, Spain last weekend.
Able to have a few camps which really helps us enhance our tactical and technical knowledge. And just the rest, like I said, is all to the players. They had the heart, they had the hunger.
We went back into the grassroots. We say that why not invest in the grassroots? And like rightly the coach has said, 3 seasoned players came on board, but then we took on board the National Sevens circuit, which became the SportPesa Sevens.
Shujaa successfully went through the qualification phase and beat Germany in the promotion playoff to return to the series in 2025.
No, the generation that we are having is quite, let me say, haphazard. And you need to bring them collectively to work as a unit.
Just dream big, bigger even to shock yourself.
Meanwhile, Sports Principal Secretary Engineer Peter Toom, who led ministry officials in receiving the team, has reiterated the government's commitment to reward the team after its exemplary performance in Madrid.
We want to promise here to everyone that the government will continue giving that support that they want.
Shujaa now switches its focus to the Olympic Games with the Rugby Sevens scheduled from July 24th to 30th of this year in Paris. Bernard Okumu, Channel 1 Sports.
Congratulations are in order for our boys there, and of course we hope to win a medal in the upcoming Paris Games. Now, of course, that concludes our broadcast in terms of news. And now you're up to date, and of course we'll duly inform you in our subsequent bulletins. But don't go too far. My colleague Mike Mwigwi is on the other side of the studio. Will be coming up with crucial conversation when it comes to TVET institutions, and of course he will be talking to the taxman owing to the Finance Bill 2024, a raft of proposals that KRA has proposed in that particular bill. And finally, my colleague Vivian will be up next, of course, with environmental matters, with the government targeting to, of course, plant more trees by the year 2032. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. We're taking a short breather. Don't go too far.
Globally, 90% of our businesses are considered to be either micro, small, or medium enterprises. The situation is no different here in Kenya, where 90% of our jobs are in this critical industry. But in the last 5 years, this industry is facing a serious challenge.
We have over 19 million Kenyans in employment, or rather in employable age, but only 3 million are formally employed. The rest of the 16 million Kenyans are informally employed, largely by MSMEs.
This week on Inside Government, we are talking to the Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and SME Development. This is Simon Chelugui. He'll be explaining to us what the government is doing to support this industry. Watch the conversation right here on KBC Channel 1 with me, O'Brien Kimani.
Sakaya, I repeat the one with the flowers. Let real men make money. You shall get your time. Madam Kamene, please keep your sweetheart company there.
So, you think putting a flower on top of his desk is going to sort your issues, eh?
Yes, of course. Why not? I saw it in a movie that when you want to apologize to your loved one, you buy them a flower, and it is very cute and romantic.
Young man, confine your opinion and your comments to yourself.
I refuse to let myself accept that we will lose today.
Stop nagging me. But if you continue like this, I'm going to swap seats. Okay? I'll get somebody else to sit here.
Tumekula kiapo. Yes. Ningekuwa kweli mimi mtu kwenda nikitangaza. Si ningekuwa nimetangaza kuhusu bwana yako.
Wewe.
Bwana yako anaitwa Ali Osman Omar. Si ndio?
Yo.
Na nimetibu yeye na nikamwambia akulete hata wewe utibiwe na ukatibiwa, si ndio? Nimaiambia mtu yote hiyo maneno.
Si wewe anasema hapa sasa?
Mimi ndio nilikuambukisha hiyo ugonjwa.
Si wewe, lakini kwa nini utangaze? Why should you?
Nani alipelekea bibi yake ugonjwa? Okay. Kawera, ni mimi ama ni wewe?
Okay, ni mimi, lakini sasa hiyo ni kitu ya kuja kueleza mahakama namna hivyo.
Kuna
nini unanialipia
tena? Unisikia nikiambia mtu ya kwamba si mara ya kwanza huko, ili mara ya 6 imekuja.
Wewe sasa wewe utasaidia.
Unaharibu kesi. Pale wako.
Welcome back. This is The Viewpoint, and we are talking about technical vocational education and training, that is TVETs, which is celebrating 100 years since inception. And in studio, I'm joined by one Stanley Maindi, who is the Director of Technical Services at the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you, Mike.
How are you doing this morning?
Today I'm very happy to be here at KBC and to celebrate 100 years of TVET in Kenya.
So 100 years of TVETs. Give us a little bit of a history around that.
Okay, thank you. First, I would like to thank the KBC for giving us this opportunity and joining other Kenyans in celebrating 100 years of TVET, because TVET has become a very critical component in the lives of Kenyans, especially when you are looking at employability of our youth and adults. And so 100 years comes in when you look at the first TVET institution in Kenya. And these celebrations are built around the first formal TVET institution in Kenya, which is currently the Kabete National Polytechnic, that was established in 1924. And in 2024, July 31st, we shall be celebrating 100 years of TVET. And the aim of this celebration is just to take stock of what has happened over the 100 years, the challenges, the progress we have made, and the opportunities that are available in TVET, especially those focusing on the enhanced employability of our youth. And so the aim of celebrating 100 years is to shout and pass a message of hope about the opportunities available in the TVET sector for Kenyans to embrace and be able to improve their employability, not just in Kenya, but across the globe.
But why now? Why have you chosen to celebrate this, the TVETs, or the achievements of the TVETs now?
Yeah, why now is when you talk of 100 years, it is unique. 100 years, you can imagine when we shall be celebrating another 100 years. That is a century, a whole century of TVET. And TVET in 100 years has done a lot for this country. There are many people who have gone through TVET who have been able to get employed and change livelihood for many Kenyans and themselves. And so the purpose of celebrating is also to align with the current reforms that the government is undertaking in the education and training sector. And the purpose of this is just to enhance the employability of our Kenyans as in line with the Vision 2030. Even when you look at the current economic development plan, the bottom up, it is focusing on improved livelihood of Kenyans. And TVET has been identified as one of the critical enablers to employability. We always say that if education is key to employability, then TVET is master key. That anybody who has a skill has the highest opportunity for getting employment, both locally and internationally. And if you are not employed, you can be self-employed, you can also be an employer. And therefore, TVET has been given a critical role by our government to ensure that it is able to turn around the livelihood of many Kenyans. You realize the critical challenges affecting our country is lack of employment. And so TVET globally has been identified as one of the greatest platforms to provide employment jobs for our youth and even adults.
All right. This is very much welcome. And one of the things that comes out in all this is the aspect where not many Kenyans really embrace this aspect of TVET. Well, and this comes down well to perception. Many people think, okay, the targets of many students who are in high school and other institutions is completing their studies and also joining universities and other colleges, but the target usually is colleges. What about the aspect of changing perceptions of the not just the students, but also the people in as far as embracing TVETs is concerned?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. One of the challenges that has affected the TVET sector is perception, issues of negative perception by the community, the potential applicants, and even the employers. TVET for a long time has been taken as a place for those who have failed to pursue the academic learning. But looking at global reforms, even you look at the UNESCO recommendations, TVET has changed. The perception is changing very fast. TVET is being identified as being the link between education and the world of work. And so reforms nowadays are not focusing on just academic learning, that is focusing on attainment of bachelor's degrees and certificates, but it's focusing on a skill. And so anybody who has a skill has the highest opportunities of getting employed. And so the aim of this celebration is to go around the country, pass a message of hope, and explain the opportunities that are available in TVET for the potential applicants and even employers to also come and participate in TVET, because they're the ones who are going to employ the products of TVET. We're also talking to development partners who finance TVET to come and share with us and understand that in TVET there is success, in TVET there is hope. In TVET, it is a complete pathway to employability. And this has happened in most developed countries where a third of the people, 2/3 of the people who enroll go for TVET pathway, and they have been able to get employed very easily.
And it also narrows down to hands-on skills that students get in these TVET institutions. So most of the courses that are taught there are hands-on?
Yeah, thank you. You realize education nowadays has gone competence-based. Yes. And you can see we are having those reforms from the even basic education, from primary. Even in the TVET, we are transiting to competence-based education and training, where the focus is the competences one has acquired. And these are the skills now that will be required in performing a task. So when you look at a skill is the ability to perform a given task to the required standards. And so our education system has taken that pathway, which is now favored in the TVET sector, and therefore that is why there is a lot of investment, there's a lot of focus on the TVET sector, because this is where now the road meets the rubber in terms of skills and competences.
I'm also in studio joined by Patrick Mucheni, who is the Chief Principal of KBC National Polytechnic. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, thank you.
100 years of TVETs. What's your feeling about that?
Thank you, and let me start by thanking you for welcoming me to this show this morning. And as you welcome us here with the director, Mr. Maize here, I think is a very good opportunity for TVETs in Kenya, because we champion issues in TVET. 100 years of TVET is, we are saying that there has come a time when TVETs in Kenya, we look at where they started. And the formal learning in TVET started way back in 1924. There was informal, but we talk of the formal learning started in 1924.
Yes.
And this is no other college than it started just here in Nairobi at KBC National Polytechnic.
Yes.
And when the year 2024 came, I want to thank the ministry, because when we approached the ministry and we told them that we were thinking of celebrating the 100 years, they said this is 100 years for all of us, because it is not only, there are even other colleges that came 10 years later or those other years later, and they have contributed to this economy. So when we get 100 years is essentially, as my friend Mr. Maize has observed, it's not very easy to come. So it was realized it's good we celebrate all of us, the TVETs in Kenya. Yes. There are over 230 of us. and also those ones in the county government, because we all contribute to the skill acquisition, and we believe that within those 100 years, our economy has benefited. And that is why the concept of the TVET at 100 also brings in the industries. Because the TVET cannot just say that they are producing. We produce for who? We produce for the industry. And I think this now comes out to be a celebration for the skill, the people who have the skills or who get the skills, and where we also market our skills. So TVET at 100 is generally geared towards those two partners, so that we come together, the trainer or the person who has been training, and the person who has been enjoying the skills, who happen to be the industries.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you say has changed, let's say in the last decade, in terms of uptake, or the students or the people who are embracing joining TVETs?
Okay, I don't want to repeat what Mr. Maize said, that in the past, this TVET has been seen as a work for kazi ya uchafu.
Exactly.
And it is not that it's something that has been liked. And you come to when we took independence, most people thought, the mindset of most of us Africans, we thought that with independence is you go to an office and sit on a white collar job. And that mentality has really done a lot to us, and it has not come out very well. So that most people were not taking this TVET or acquisition of skills very positively. And then you realize, when you come back to the economy, people have come to realize, what does the economy require? In terms of skills, we require not knowing, we require the doing. We require the doing. And if you are going for this desk that we are sitting on, you don't want somebody to come and draw and tell you how it can look like. We require somebody who will actualize the idea. That is skill acquisition. So the economy now, as it grows, those are the people we require. So with the recent past, our population or the Kenyans have shown now interest in TVET. And you realize even the intake that was done by COOPS this year, you realize that even some people, over 10,000, shunned away from university, and they have the university admission, and they went to the TVET courses. And that shows that people can understand, because in actual sense, in a normal economy, we require one manager. And in production, let me say in production, we require one manager, and we require quite a number of people to do the activity. But this is a situation if you give an example of digging a trench, we are digging a trench. We want to believe that 9 people can, if 10 people are digging a trench, we want to believe that 10 people and 9 people can supervise, and 1 person digs the trench, which is supposed to be the other way around.
Yes.
It's supposed to be 1 supervisor and 9 to do the work.
Yes.
So I think that is the economy whereby the middle, we are supposed to broaden our middle level with the skills so that we grow. Yeah.
Besides the aspect of low perception for TVETs that people used to have, what would you say are the other major challenges that TVETs are facing today?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Some of the key challenges has been the issues of access and equity. So, and the government has addressed it by expanding the TVET infrastructure, by opening a TVET institution in every constituency, so that there is promotion of access and then equity. Then we have been the issue of quality and relevance. So this one has also been changed again by investing massively in TVET, both government and the key stakeholders, in terms of equipment. So you'll find most TVET institutions have some of the latest state-of-art equipments that now are able to churn products that are market ready and with the prerequisite skills for our economy. Then we have had now recruitment of many qualified trainers to be able to train. And then we have also had in benchmarking with the relevant international standards to ensure that the TVET graduates we get in Kenya meet the national standards and also international, so that they are also able to move beyond. There's mobility in terms of employment and learning. And so you can see in 2018, we had an enrollment of around 50,000. Currently, we are having over 350 trainees within the TVET institutions. So you can see that signifies a massive change in perception. And then you look at government policies, they are all focusing on embracing TVET as a solution to the challenge of employability in the country. So through TVET, it's been seen as a pathway, is a master key to enhanced employability of most Kenyans in this. And then we're also able to, you can see the entry of industry players and development partners. We have so many development partners that are now have invested in TVET in terms of technical and financial support. And this shows that the change in perception and also in support for government goodwill in enhancing the capacity of TVET to address our national challenge of skilled workforce.
What about the aspect of enhancing the curricula?
Yeah, that's another one of the key reforms that have also taken place. We have had continuous reforms in the curriculum system, right from basic education through to university. And so you can see this country has now moved away from the traditional curriculum to competence-based education and training that is focusing on skill. And this is demand-driven training that is informed by labor market needs. You realize we have all talked about skills, the challenge of skills mismatch in this country. The issues of half-baked graduates has been because training has not been linking with the industry. So there has been a lot of linkage between TVET institutions and industry. So it is industry now that informs the kind of training, the kind of skills that are needed in our fast-changing economic and societal needs. You see, the economy is changing. The economy is seeking such specific skills. And the society is also seeking specific qualifications. Now they want short programs that will lead to employability. They are talking about micro-credentials. These are short programs that are able to enable somebody who enrolls in TVET institutions to access employment within a short time. People are no longer interested in pursuing long-lasting qualifications, taking 5 years. Somebody would want to come and take 3 months, train, acquire a skill, and get into the labor market and be able to serve.
Yes. Mr. Patrick, what would you say from your standpoint as a principal of Kabete Polytechnic? What would you say are the skills or competencies that students are gravitating more, especially in your institution?
Thank you. I want maybe before I come to that, I can also add what my friend was really talking about on the issue of the way TVET and the way the government is coming in to make sure that TVET is at home and we are somewhere. One of the things also to add on what you're saying on trainers, the government is really embarking a lot on retooling the existing trainers so that they are able to go CBET way. I remember, because the curriculum is new, we are now going to, instead of the skill acquisition. So there is a lot of retooling when it comes to trainers. When they are employed, there is a lot of retooling. Number two, he has also talked about the curriculum. The curriculum has changed. In the past, we had bodies that were designing curriculum and sending to us so that we can use the curriculum and train, you know that. Right now, the curriculum is being made by 2 partners. The same 2 partners who are to celebrate TVET at 100. That is the TVET and that's the school and the industry. So that you see in now the curriculum that we will roll out in TVET, they are sort of demand-driven. They are coming from where the need, from where we are training. Those people whom we are training, where they are supposed to work, that is where we are generating the curriculum. And we partner and we make the curriculum together. That is now the new way. I now come to your question on the areas that are popular with the trainees. Now, I think If I may come to that, when I look at most of our admissions, and I told you these students are coming in because they are also listening to you people.
Yeah.
There is a saying that has been saying, ukitaka praba, utatafuta sijuta. Most people talk that way, patikani. So you look at the construction area. The construction area impacts a lot. It has those areas in masonry, plumbing, carpentry, architecture, civil, building. Those areas they are really coming up when it comes to enrollment. And also, the government has also equipped most of the colleges in those areas too. There's also this other area of hospitality. You realize there's also another field whereby a job is just on the next door.
Yeah.
So that area of hospitality is also very it's high. It's attracting students. Remember, also when you go to areas like those engineering, also electrical and all that, they support construction. So those areas are there. But we also the courses that have now come, like Mr. Maize has talked about. We are making now short courses. So even that construction now is coming down to short courses like the tiling, the roofing. You see, some things that are a bit unique, so that we are able to get the very skilled, very highly refined skilled when it comes to a skill. So even that curriculum is a sort of what Mr. Maize has talked about, is coming in the micro, very small training or micro credentials that will lead to a skill. Yeah.
Also, on the same,
yes,
you look at the economic pillars, our country's economic pillars, like housing, like building and construction industry, the digital superhighway. So you realize some of the popular skills are also linked to the key economic sectors. And so most of them are now enrolling in for housing. You can see that the same now who are implementing the national housing scheme, the kind of massive skills required. We see now with the digitalization, globalization and digitalization, digital skills are becoming very popular. So where somebody can even work from the house. Issues related to environment, climate change, those are now global skills. In terms of global market, it is so much that even now at a national level, we are also investing in it for the purposes of just regional and global market.
Yes. Still on you, Mr. Maize, some TVETs are accredited to train, but some are not accredited to award qualifications. Explain that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that is a good question, and that's where my organization, the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, comes in. And it's an institution that was formed to coordinate and harmonize education and training in the country, to ensure that what we are training meets national standards and are of international comparability. And so when you talk of accrediting to award and to train, it means one has the mandate to just offer training. And then there are those now within the TVET sector, like the national polytechnics, have a legal mandate. They have a legal order that empowers them to develop curriculum, train, assess, and award qualifications in their name. And one of the institutions that have that is the KBC National Polytechnic, that is what we call a qualification award institution, has been accredited. So it has both the training, the assessment, and certification mandate. And that is why some of the current reforms that this government has taken over to expand the TVET space and promote access to quality and relevant qualifications in the country.
And those reforms are also captured in the report of the Presidential Working Party on Education?
Yes, those reforms are in the sessional paper. You go back just recent sessional paper number 1 of 2019.
Yes.
The current recommendation of the Presidential Working Party report has also captured this and has also recommended the linkages between TVET institutions and industry in terms of training to ensure that what is taught and trained meets the labor market demands.
Yes. Mr. Mucheni, how can TVETs be positioned better to respond to labor markets, enhance employability, and also enhancing entrepreneurship?
Thank you for that. That is something I also want to relate with whatever we have talked about, the qualification. So before the way I can come into that, I want to observe that the government has really designed the economy in a way that there are so many those TVET institutions, but among them, one of them is a QAI, a Qualification Awarding Institution. That design is geared towards that in that economy, in that Mombasa, in that area of coast, if we have a problem of boat making, it can the solution can be done there. They can research, they can do proper whatever, and they can make those things. They can solve their problem in that small region, and that's why there are these national polytechnics distributed all the way in the Republic of Kenya. Currently, previously there used to be 9, but they have also been increased to solve that problem. And now, when it comes to that, I'd said that when you are designing the training, it is not me, the expert, to design the curriculum. I don't know the problem of. I have to go to the economy, I have to go to the industry, study the problem, then invite the industry. We develop the curriculum together. Then also, when we develop the curriculum together, we roll it out together. We are supposed to roll it out, the curriculum together. So that when we evaluate that skill, we are evaluating me and the industry, the training institution and the industry. When it comes to that, and that's why there are so many aspects, even some development partners who are really sponsoring the aspect of dual training, whereby the students or the trainee is supposed to be some time in class and maybe the other 50% of the time in the work environment. So when we do that now, that is now I think we are now going to the solution whereby the skills that we are going to give, they are going to be accepted by the economy, and by the end of the day, our investment will be very correct, because we will not train somebody like it has happened in the past. We train somebody maybe in engineering, and when we send that person to the industry, and then the industry starts again to train the person, to acquaint himself to the machines, to acquaint himself to a work environment. So I think, we tend to think the industry has employed. So they should not waste another time in training. And then the only solution was, we bring you inside. And I think the government has really worked on that, so that now the curriculum, and that's why these bodies are there. If you have not done the curriculum with the right person, it is not seeing the light of the day. It is not going through. And that is happening in all our national polytechnics. And that's why they have been given that mandate of a qualification awarding institution. You develop the curriculum together with the right person, you implement together with the right person, then we set the graduate outside, and we know we have done our work.
In the interest of time, I want you to give your closing remarks and tell us what you expect to be the outcome of the celebration.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Well, your last question actually focused on the goal of the celebration, to modernize and reposition TVET to effectively implement its mandate. TVET, despite the government investing massively, it has yet to realize its full potential of providing employment to our youth. And so we are focusing that at the end of the celebration, we shall have brought on board industry players, development partners to participate in the implementation of TVET. We also focus to change the mindset, reach out to very many Kenyans and shout the message of hope, and market to them the existing potential opportunities within the TVET sector for potential learners, for potential industry players and development partners, both local and to come and take care, participate in its. So, and at the same time, we shall be focusing to increase quality and relevance in terms of the equipment and the number of trainers involved in implementing TVET. And one thing we didn't mention is we are also moving towards dual training, where half of the training is done in a TVET institution, another half in the workplace or the industry, so that one is able to come out with the current industry market skills that are needed to drive our economy.
Yes, your closing remarks.
On the TVET at 100, I want to say all of us, you'll see we celebrate our birthdays. And when we celebrate our birthday, the intention is you really appreciate yourself.
Yes.
And also, in that celebration of the birthday, we say, may you live 1,000, may you blow 1,000 candles.
Yes.
So in this celebration, we want to start somewhere and celebrate TVET in Kenya.
Yes.
And then also, in that celebration, we'll also look back on what has happened and how we can improve it and make a report so that we can now see the future with a better eye, and that will improve our TVETs in the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
So I think it is a high time we would wish to welcome all the TVET stakeholders, all the industries, our development partners, so that we celebrate these investments that we have done for the last 100 years. We look at the investment and now design for our future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time to come to our show.
Thank you, too.
That is Patrick Musheni, who is the Chief Principal at Kabete Polytechnic, and also Stanley Maindi, who is the Director of Technical Services at Kenya National Qualifications Authority. That is where we cap matters this discussion. Don't go too far. Good morning, Kenya. Continue shortly.
Tumekula kiapo. Yes. Ningekuwa kweli mimi mtu akwenda nikitangaza. Si ningekuwa nimetangaza kuhusu bwana yako. Wewe. Bwana yako anaitwa Ali Osman Omar. Si ndio? Yo. Na nimetibu yeye na nikamwambia akulete hata wewe utibiwe na ukatibiwa, si ndio? Nimaiambia mtu yote hiyo maneno.
Si wewe anasema hapa sasa?
Mimi ndio nilikuambukisha hiyo ugonjwa.
Si wewe, lakini kwa nini utangaze? Kwa why should you?
Nani alipelekea bibi yake ugonjwa? Okay. Kawera, ni mimi ama ni wewe?
Okay, ni mimi, lakini sasa hiyo ni kitu ya kuja kueleza mahakama na hivyo.
Kuna
nini unanialipia
tena? Unisikia nikiambia mtu ya kwamba si mara ya kwanza huko, ili mara ya 6 imekuzika.
Wewe sasa wewe utasaidia.
Unaharibu kesi. Pale wako.
Kiongozi wetu sasa ana nafuu. Tusikubali roho mbaya, tabia mbaya na nia mbaya kuchukua nafasi mbele yetu.
Kaa karibu na babako wakati wote. Mimi nitafanya vovote livyo. Yaani nitahakikisha mwanamke anayetetemesha hii funzi Nuru ni muoe mimi.
Hii pete inamaagiza ichunge.
Cha madhara, umesikia? Mimi sina baba.
Globally, 90% of our businesses are considered to be either micro, small, or medium enterprises. The situation is no different here in Kenya, where 90% of our jobs are in this critical industry. But in the last 5 years, this industry is facing a serious challenge.
We have over 19 million Kenyans in employment, or rather in employable age, but only 3 million are formally employed. The rest of the 16 million Kenyans are informally employed, largely by MSMEs.
This week on Inside Government, we are talking to the Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and SME Development. This is Simon Chelugui. He'll be explaining to us what the government is doing to support this industry. Watch the conversation right here on KBC Channel 1 with me, O'Brien Kimani.
Welcome back. This is The Viewpoint, and now we shift matters and talk about tax amnesty, which was introduced last year, starting from September to 2024, 30th of June, which is this month. And to help me in this conversation in studio, I'm joined by Mr. Cyrus Arori, who is a tax expert from Kenya Revenue Authority. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm good too. Tax amnesty.
Yes.
What is it?
Tax amnesty, this is one of the goodies that KRA give to its taxpayers. Tax amnesty, it is a limited time offer that it is a forgiveness we are giving to people that have got penalties and interest up to the year 2022 December 31st.
Yes.
Yes.
Forgiveness of tax sins.
Yes.
It waives all penalties and interest on principal taxes accrued up to 31st December of 2022.
Yes.
Now, what is this principal tax?
Now, the principal tax, when you are doing, let's say if you are in business and you are doing business, at the end of the year, at the end of your accounting year, you are supposed to account for all the business that you did. The profits that you get, you are supposed to pay tax on it. So if, let's say, you did some business and you got like 30,000 to pay to KRA, so that one will be the principal. It is the amount that is charged on the profits that you made. So if, let's say, you are supposed to pay 30,000 and you failed to pay that one on time, then the system will charge you a penalty and an interest. Now we came up with that thing in the Finance Act 2023 that for all those people who filed their returns and they had some principal tax to pay, but they were unable to pay that tax on time. Now we're asking them to make the payments of the principal tax so that we can give you forgiveness on the penalties that were accrued on the principal tax.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, this tax amnesty has been in existence since last year, September.
Yes.
And it's coming to a close this month.
Yes, by 30th June.
Yes.
Yes.
What has been the impact? Have people responded to it?
Yeah, a good number of people have responded to it. Especially, we have got those people who had not even filed their returns. We have got a good number of people who didn't know even that they were supposed to file their returns. And again, there are some people who were being told by some other people that if you file your returns, KRA will penalize you. They will charge you an interest. So after we came up with this thing and we went to people even in the rural areas and even the youth, we told them, no, you are supposed to file your returns, and once you have filed your returns, we are going to forgive you all your penalties and the interest. It was like we had put it that you reset and start afresh with the KRA. It is like you are giving a new baby. So we are giving you a new baby, a fresh one with no issues. You start afresh with it. So a good number of people, they have showed up, they have filed their returns. Those people, a good number of people who had got the principal tax, most of them, those who are not able to pay one-off, because we had an option, either you pay one-off or you come up with a payment plan. So many people applied for a payment plan. They have been able to make their payments and they have been able to enjoy the tax amnesty. Yes.
So they have responded well.
Yes.
Were there fiscal targets that were set for the KRA within the aspect, within the context of this amnesty, and have you met the target?
Let me say that we have met like 50% of it. We have achieved it from the last statistics that we had achieved around 50%. So the remaining amount, I can say like now, and I don't know whether it is the tendency of us Kenyans. We tend to rush on the last minute. So as at now, as we are speaking, those people who are coming up, there are so many of them. Yes.
So the system is really working.
We are our guys in the ICT.
Yes.
They are really on it.
Yes.
So as at now, if you try to apply for the amnesty, we don't have those system issues. Yes.
So this amnesty applies to all tax obligations?
It applies to all the tax obligations. Yes.
Now, let me give you a scenario.
Yes.
There is a person who took a pin.
Yes.
But has not at any one time filed for not a single time filed for tax returns. Is he eligible for that amnesty?
Now, all taxpayers, let me use the word, the taxpayers, because now if you are registered to KRA, you are automatically a taxpayer. So all the taxpayers, all those people who have registered with the KRA and they have got a PIN, and they have got penalties for up to December 2022, they all qualify for the tax amnesty. Any person, provided that you have got a PIN and you have filed your returns up to December 2022 and you have got penalties and interest, provided you have cleared your principal tax, if you happen to have any, then you qualify to get that amnesty. Yes.
Now, what must be included in that application?
In the application. Now, for those people who are supposed to apply, we have got two categories of people. We have got those people who have got the principal tax, and we have got those people who don't have any principal tax. They have got only the penalties and the interest. And you will find, like, for those people who file the NI returns, normally they don't have an interest. Interest is charged on the principal. So for those people who have got only penalties and interest, they don't need even to apply. It is an automatic thing.
Yes.
For those people who have got the principal tax, what you are supposed to do, you are only supposed to log into your profile. And then we have got the tabs up there. We have got the one for data and enforcement. You click on it, then it will show you the guidelines for applying for amnesty. You don't need any document. You don't need any evidence to apply for that amnesty. You are supposed to click on it and select how many installments you want to pay. But as at now, if you apply it now, you will only get one installment because you are left with very few days.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
The waiver applies to penalties and interests on principal tax to periods of up to 31st December 2022.
Yes.
Now, January 1st, 2023.
Yes.
What happens?
That one is payable.
It is
now,
not
it happens. The waiver was scrapped off in June 2020, as in up to June last year, people were allowed to apply for a waiver. If you had applied for a waiver, for, let's say, the penalties for January, February, March, April, up to around June, if you had attached the correct documents, you had given all the reasons, then your waiver will be processed. But if you do not apply, that one you don't get the waiver, and again you don't get the amnesty. So for any penalties and interest from January 2023 up to now, those ones they don't qualify for amnesty. Yes.
What if one applies for amnesty,
yes,
but fails to stick to the terms,
yes,
and conditions they are in? What happens?
If you don't stick to the terms and the condition, then it means that you miss that amnesty. Yes.
Is there a way to enforce that?
Now, that one, let's say you applied for a payment plan. You had a liability of 1 million. You are supposed to pay the million, maybe in a duration of 6 months. Assume you applied in January. So at the end of 30th June, if you have not paid this amount, then now enforcement measures will be instituted against you. So it means that now we will go to the enforcement process, the normal process. We will send you a demand letter, we'll send you a 14 demand letter. After that, if you don't respond, we will send you a 7-day demand letter. After that, if you don't respond, we will send you an immediate demand letter. If you don't do that, then now we'll go ahead to enforce you. Some people, normally, I say people have got maybe wrong information. People assume that if you have got liabilities with, or you have got issues with KRA, they will just enforce you. No, we don't do that. We will send you letters first, we'll send you the 14. We give you timelines. If you respond to them, then you will be in good books with us. So if you will not have honored the amnesty application, what will happen is that enforcement measures will be instituted against you.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think there is enough information out there about this tax amnesty?
With the information, let me say, when we started this, that information was not, it was not clear to even the taxpayers out here. But as at now, what we have done, I guess by now a good number of people have got the information. Because we have done, like today I'm here. Yesterday my colleague was in KTN. We have gone on to the radio stations. We have got a mobile tax clinic. We have got a bus that moves from one point to the other. You'll find it in the rural areas, you'll find it in the markets. So we have tried to reach all the people so that they can show up and they enjoy the amnesty thing. Yes.
Once this amnesty runs out,
yes,
is there going to be an extension? Because unajua Kenya sometimes we are last minute people. Is there going to be an extension of the amnesty?
You see, this thing was introduced in the Finance Act Bill 2023. So if again they will introduce it in the Finance Act 2024, maybe it will be there. But up to now, we can't tell that whether it will be there or it will not. And again, we have not heard the rumors in the Finance Act whether they have introduced anything of the same kind. So if they haven't, let's say that as at now, we really don't think it will be there. Maybe they will have a different thing, which we don't know. Because this one, it comes from our leaders. Let me say it comes from the government.
Yes.
Yes.
So what about a person who does not agree with debts, tax debts, that running up to the period of 31st December 2022?
Now we have got people, maybe those who don't agree, we have got two major scenarios. There are those people who filed their returns, especially in the year 2014, 2015, and 2016, they made the payments, but the payments were not captured in the system. So if you belong to that category, you're supposed to get your documents, take all your documents to your tax station office, we call it a TSO, or your station. You take them there. We have got account managers. You as a person, if today you went to your tax station, you will find your account manager there. So you give the documents to your account manager, they will forward them to, we have a department that deals with the reconciliation. So as at now, all the people in KRA, the ones that all the complaints that they receive as at now of the people who made the payments and they're not reflecting in the system, to make sure that they finish those things before 30th June so that the taxpayers can be able to enjoy the tax amnesty. We have got people who have got additional assessments. What we mean by additional assessment is those people who filed their returns, but we as KRA, we realized that the information you gave was not the correct information. So we will, let's say you were supposed to file your returns, you had a profit of like, let's say 1 million, but what you declared in the system was 300,000. So we will add the 700,000 on your assessment. So if you disagree with this, we have got an objection. You launch an objection, and once you launch an objection, it will come to us, the officers in KRA. So all the people dealing with those objections, they have been told to make sure that they clear the tasks before 30th June, so that if there's an amount a taxpayer is supposed to pay, they'll make the payment, and so that they can be able to enjoy the amnesty.
Yes. We are talking about amnesty, tax amnesty, but we have not touched on the process of applying for this tax amnesty.
Oh, yeah. Like I said earlier, the only people who will be allowed to apply for the tax amnesty, there are those people who have got the principal tax. If you don't have the principal tax, you don't have to apply. It is an automatic thing. So if you have the principal tax, you will log into your profile. Once you log in to your profile, there at the top, you will see there's a tab for debt and enforcement. If you click on it, it will give you an option for amnesty application. So you click on the amnesty application, then from there you will select all the liabilities that you agree with. Once you pick them, then the system, there's a tab that will show you how many installments you want to apply for. So if you want, like now, if you apply now, it will only give you one installment. So you click on the one installment, but you have got from today up to 30th June to make that payment. Once you make the payment and you clear and the principal is 0, then you will automatically get the amnesty. And once you get the amnesty, we normally send you an amnesty certificate to your email.
So is it the same as tax compliance certificate?
No, those are two different things.
So what's the difference?
The tax compliance, if you read the tax compliance, it says that, let's say this taxpayer, Cyrus Arori, has applied for, has filed all the returns and made all the payments that he's supposed to make. So the tax compliance, it shows that you are compliant. You have filed all the returns, you have made all the payments. Or if you might find that you have filed the returns and you have got a payment plan. So you will find that you have got some liabilities to pay. So it means that it will show you that if you have got a payment plan, that means that it is compliance. Tax amnesty, it shows that you have been forgiven the penalties and the interest. It means that in a simple language, they have been removed from your system, the penalties and the interest. Yes.
So everybody has to file returns?
Yes.
And those who are having problems with paying returns have to apply for this amnesty?
Yes.
It's interesting given the perception that people have towards paying tax. Is that changing with time?
That one, I can assure you, it is changing with the time, and I like the way it is changing.
Why?
You see, some of us, maybe when we were growing, you could hear of KRA, the first thing you could do if you are operating a business, the first thing you do is to close the business. Nowadays, I can see, we go to the feed and people don't, they will wait for us, listen to what we are telling them, and the response, it is quite good, it is encouraging. Yeah.
So I hope Kenyans take advantage of this chance that the Kenya Revenue Authority has given them.
Hopefully.
And at least pay obligations, tax obligations, because that is the way we become self-reliant as a country.
Yes.
And what is your closing remarks?
What I will urge our viewers and the Kenyans out there, for those of us who have not filed the returns, please make a point of filing your returns. If you are unable to file your returns, we have got so many care offices. We have got our officers in Huduma Center. Visit the Huduma Center, visit the care office. Even if you don't remember your PIN number, give them your ID number. They retrieve the PIN number for you. They will be able to apply they'll be able to file the returns for you, and they will be able to apply the amnesty for you if you need that amnesty. As in, if you have got the penalties and the interest for up to 31st December 2022. Be our ambassadors, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Yes.
Yes.
That is Mr. Cyrus Arori talking to us about tax amnesty, which was introduced last year, starting from the 1st of September and is running up to the 30th of June this year. So you should take advantage of that and do your due duty as a citizen and pay tax. This is where we cap matters this conversation. My name is Mike Migu. Don't go too far. Good Morning Kenya continues shortly.
kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu.
Tumekula kiapo. Ningekuwa kweli mimi mtu wa kwenda nikitangaza. Si ningekuwa nimetangaza kuhusu bwana yako. Mimi ndio nilikuambukisha hiyo ugonjwa.
Si wewe, lakini kwa nini utangaze? Why should you?
Nani alipelekea bibi yake ugonjwa?
TB waishi poa.
Nitabaki kujijutia kwa madhila na dharau pia, na kukubali kutiania, fanya kwa ajili ya jania.
Moja katika amana ambazo Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam alitusisitizia tuhifadhi ni amana ya kuweka siri.
Kwamba Uislamu umechukua jambo la siri kwamba ni jambo muhimu na ni katika ibada, na yeyote ambaye kwamba atakuwa mwenye kufanya kutoa siri basi amefanya khiana.
Alhamdulillah, no matter what comes my way. Alhamdulillah, my heart will thank and praise and every time I feel it.
What's this? It is mostly used for washing babies. I don't have any babies at it all.
For the record, I told them this was not a good idea. Someone can die of heart attack.
Shall we move on? Whatever I do in my spare time is none of your business.
What is wrong? What is there to like here? What is there to like here? Haven't you done any decorations before? Just tell her what she's doing wrong. Why do you have to look down on people like that?
We traveled to Maize Bridge in Trans Nzoia County to meet one former military communications expert who served as a regimental signaller.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Warrant Officer Class 1 retired Samuel Kiptanui Serem, ambaye mimi nimezaliwa 1961 tarehe 14 mwezi wa 6 sehemu za Nandi County, ambaye wakati huo nilitoka Kapsabet, na wazazi wangu wakakuja mpaka Trans Nzoia County mali nimelelewa. Nikaenda Kesokon Primary School miaka ya 70, nikafanya CPE, Certificate Primary of Education, wakati huo 1977. Kisha baadaye nikajiunga na julikana kama St. Anthony's Boys Secondary School from 1978. Mwaka wa 1981 mwezi wa 8, nikiwa karibu nimalize shule, jeshi wakakuja kuajiri wanajeshi sehemu za Kitale. Nikaona kuliko kukaa nyumbani nikaenda kujaribu, na kwa bahati mzuri nikakuwa listed tarehe 14 August 1981. From 1982 February nikahudumu katika 5K kama askari mpya. Baada ya hapo nikaendelea kufanya kazi yangu wa askari, alafu by 1984 nikaamua kujiunga na kikosi cha regimental signalers. Nikarudisha kikosi cha 5 kama regimental signaller, kazi ambayo nilifanya kuanzia wakati wa 1983 mpaka 2000. Vitu mingi nimezoea ni ya kutoa amri, vitu mingi nimezoea tukifanya pamoja, lakini sasa unapokuja nje inabaki wewe na mke wako. So mimi nilipokuja nyumbani pande uchapo, kwa mimi nilikuwa napenda sana kuja, lakini nilifeel nimebaki peke yangu. Ile simu nilikuwa napigiwa asubuhi na mkubwa hakuna. Sasa unakaa unasema ni kama unastuka, mbona ama iko namna gani? So itabidi ujiadjust, na nashukuru kwa sababu kwa jeshi sisi we are so flexible. Ukifika desert, ishi vile desert iko. Let us party.
Officer Serem is a family man who enjoys exercising to relax, believes in educating children to their best of their abilities.
Mimi ni mzee ambaye niko na mke mmoja ambaye amewakaribisha mahala pale. Nilioa 1983. 2 years baada ya kuingia jeshi. Na tumebarikiwa tuko na watoto 5.
His parting shot.
Yawezekana kuna Wakenya ambaye hawajaona inchi ama mtu ambaye amekosa amani namna anavyoishi. Lakini kwa mtu kama mimi, nimeenda Sierra Leone, nimeenda Somalia si mara moja si mara mbili, na kuona jinsi watu wanaishi kwa sababu ya kukosekana na amani ni jambo la kusikitikia. Kwa hivyo tushike na tutunze amani kuliko vitu vyote, na tusifanye mchezo nao.
After the interview, we paid a visit to his farm, which has been his office since retirement.
Unaona kiangalia inatafuta hiyo. Ni the process kana tafuna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tumeshukuru sana bwana Serem. Asante. For 38 years, Mr. Samuel Serem was in the military and called it a day just a few years ago, but his dedication and determination, he still has it to this day.
For Military Tales from Maize Bridge in Trans Nzoia County, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
We are glad that you are still tuned to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa. Now we get into a conversation that I had mentioned at the very beginning of the show, and that is on belly fat. We're going to be looking at the types of belly fat and how to get to reduce this belly fat or how to lose it completely. And joining me for this particular conversation is Nelly Kuria. She is a nutritionist. Nelly, welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you.
How's your morning?
I'm well, and you?
I'm great.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's start by just defining belly fat. What is belly fat? And is there healthy belly fat?
Belly fat is accumulation of fat deposit that is stored on the torso area. Because belly fat, the whole tummy mainly is the torso area.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's accumulation of fat deposit that occurs because of taking a lot of carbs. Because you see, the body will take whatever it needs, then the rest will be, the rest will be left as excessive. It will be taken to the body like excessive fat deposit that will be stored. That is why you find people with layers of fat. Like you find one, like now I was just admiring your tummy. Yes, you're looking very nice. You get people with like a very big tummy with layers. That when one is seated, it can reach even on the knees for women. It looks ugly, why lie? Yes, and it has some issues as well.
Yeah, but we need to draw the line so that we do not body shame. You know, you can't
Still,
say
I agree.
it looks ugly.
But you see, it has some issues as well. It has some chronic ailment because of the fat deposit. Honestly, you don't even have the self-esteem. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. So belly fat is actually considered one of the most dangerous fats.
Yes,
you know, why is that so, and how does that get to affect one's overall health?
Okay, because of the fat deposit on the torso area. We talk of mainly the torso area, the down part.
Yeah.
Because now the belly fat can bring some terminal illness, like you can have diabetic type 2 because of the fat deposit. Then you can have some, because of the weight, because most people, like the Bantu, sorry to say so, we are big on the upper part. So you'll find that you'll have some problem on the knees, you have back problem, simply because the fat deposit that you are carrying is not able to carry the fat deposit as in the knees.
Yeah.
You feel uncomfortable. Then when you are sleeping, you are snoring, you don't sleep well. Yes, because of the fat deposit, you don't sleep well. You have some kind of, there are so many side effects of the fat deposit on the torso area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there different kinds of belly fat? So what types of belly fat are there, if at all there are there?
Okay, we have different kind of belly fat. There is beer belly that look like a pot. There is beer belly. There is hormonal belly. There is sagging belly. Like a muffin cake. As in, it's big here, and down here, it's small.
Oh.
And most of the people have that. Small here, you are just small on the upper part, but the down tummy looks like a muffin cake. Yes.
So those are the different kinds of
There are different kind of belly fat. But by the way you look at it, you can be able to tell what kind of a tummy that you have. So I can advise everyone to touch and feel how your tummy is for you to know what kind of a tummy that you have.
So what causes this different belly fats? You know, you've mentioned a beer belly. That's definite. It's a definite. You know, it's caused by
belly
taking beer,
taking a lot of alcohol. But you see, you'll fight with so many people when you tell them not to take alcohol. So whatever I always say, take your alcohol, but in moderate. Yes. And you'll find that most people who take alcohol, they don't take water. So like now you can tell a client, I want you to be taking your alcohol, yes, but in small quantity, but make sure you take water. So they'll tell you there is no difference between alcohol and water because it's just a liquid. So you go through such kind of things. And as well, you know very well that with alcohol, with alcohol, it slows your metabolism. So alcohol is not water. It's just like the way someone takes a lot of tea and say, I'm taking water. So there is difference between tea and what? And water. So you actually tell people, when I say you take water, the belly fat, the alcohol belly, it's because of a lot of alcohol. Because you see, like you'll find alcohol, it has a lot of carbs. So with the carbs, the body takes what it needs, it slows the metabolism, then your belly starts growing slowly by slowly. Then you find that you've already ballooned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so from the types of belly fat that you just mentioned, you know, are you able to know like what causes or what sort of accumulation has caused that belly? You know, you've talked about the beer one that you've just elaborated. You've mentioned the sagging belly, you've mentioned the muffin one. So are these bellies caused by different sorts of accumulation of fat?
Actually, mostly it's the way we eat.
Yeah.
Other than the beer belly, it's because of the way we eat. Because you'll find that we take a lot of carbs. And carbs are very sweet. So once we take a lot of carbs, the body, you take a lot of carbs, but whatever you are using, whatever you are utilizing, it's not a lot of energy. Because like now, with the carbs, depend on the kind of work that you do. Someone who is doing shamba work, using a lot of energy. So even if you take a lot of carbs, you utilize. So whatever you've taken in, you'll be able to work it out. But now, depending on the kind of work that you do, whatever you are taking in, and you're just seated doing nothing, so that fat, it will be accumulated like fat deposit. So we are actually what you eat. That is what I can say. And the beer and the pot accumulate slowly by slowly. It's a journey. It accumulates slowly by slowly, and then you find that yourself you've already ballooned. Yes.
Can some of this be completely out of genetics? Like I can work on watching my belly, you know, watching what I eat and all that, but can I still have the belly? Because, you know, genetics.
I always say with genetics, 50-50. Honestly, because if you can't just balloon because you are taking air. So it's what you eat. It's what you eat. I agree, genetics just, let's say like 2%, but you are actually what you eat. Because even if you say your people are having bellies, they are big, still depend on how you are eating. Because in case you watch your diet, you watch your portion, this belly won't be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's all about...
It's all about food.
What you eat.
What you eat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And can a belly, you know, can the belly indicate like other underlying issues?
True.
Yeah?
Like now, as I've already said, I've talked about diabetic type 2. Some cancers are cause of the fat deposit. Infertility, there's some people who can't even conceive. because of the fat deposit. So it's having so many issues.
Yeah. So how do you work towards, losing that belly fat? Let's look at our diet, as a nutritionist. Just advise us what to eat. You've mentioned that carbs is a no-no, and when you partake
you
of
have
the
to
carbs, you take in small portions,
yes.
and you make sure that you do something, like you move your body to ensure that you're bringing it out.
It depends on the kind of work that you do.
Yeah.
So you check on your portion. But the people who are doing heavy jobs, they are using a lot of energy. They can take as much as they can. Yes. But now, for someone like, I'm not saying that you don't work out, but you see here you don't use a lot of energy. Yes, you're using a lot of energy in thinking, but not in working out. Yes.
So how do we go about, watching, what should we eat? What should we not
We have
eat?
to eat because we need energy.
Yeah.
We live to eat, and we eat to live, honestly, because honestly, you can't do without food. So we live to eat, and we eat to live. It's a two-way thing. So what I always say, there are things that we don't take. Most people, you'll find like most people don't take water. So if you don't take water, there are some people who stay for like 2 or 3 days that they've not gone to, they don't have any bowel movement because they don't take water. So if you take water, you'll honestly have a lot of bowel movement. So if you don't take water still, you'll find that you've already bloated. And you look like you have a big belly. But it's simply because you are bloated because you don't take water. We should take a lot of green vegetables. As in each and every meal that you take, make sure you have vegetables. And actually, half of your plate should be vegetables. Then, small amount of protein, and a carb, a very small amount. But for people who are already very big, they can try to do with the carbs completely, like for a week, so that the body can use the energy that it has already stored for itself. Yes.
Yeah. So for someone who already has the belly.
For someone who has already have a big belly. Okay, now for the people who are developing a belly, it's not yet there, but it can be there. They can just check on the portion of food that they are taking, then take a lot of green vegetables and take water and take fruits. Because you'll find that there is a way of taking fruits. As in, you should not take fruits with your food. You either have your fruits 30 minutes before food or 30 minutes after food.
So there's a way you should eat.
Yes, not
as
just
well,
eating.
not just anyhow.
Yes, not just eating.
So the proper way of having your fruits is 30 minutes before having a meal?
Before meal, because actually it needs an empty stomach. So if you take it 30 minutes before meal, that fruit will be able to help the body. It will be consumed well in the body. But if you take your fruits and take your food at the same time, this fruit is going to rot in your body. It wasn't digested.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to take your fruit either 30 minutes before food or 30 minutes after. Then there's a way of taking water, not just taking water. You either have your water before food, not food with water, because that is what most people do.
That's what most people we are used to. I'm also guilty of
No. You should take your water either before food. Because like in case you take your water before food, you won't be able to have a lot of food because you're already full. And you'll be feeling full all the time. So once you take your water before food, you won't have a lot of food. You see, like that, you'll be able to carb on the foods that you're taking. Yes. If you take your water maybe after food, still, it will be of help. Because like now when you are eating and having your water, you are swallowing some air. So by the end of the day, you might have some stomach problem as well.
So that was for the people whose bellies are progressing.
Yes.
Now for someone who already has that belly, it has accumulated, they have a big belly. How do they go about cutting it, trying to lose it? Because it's not a one-day thing.
Not, this is a journey.
So
I agree, this is a journey
what
that will be starting.
practices should they,
Okay, now, I'm not fighting with the gym, but I always say, once you are already overweight, you don't need to go to the gym. Because honestly, you're going to build up your muscles, yet you've not broken down the fat deposit. So we have to break down the fat deposit before we go to farm it up. So that is why we are there. As in when you visit our clinic, the first thing that you'll do, there is a scale that you stand on. Now on the scale, it will show me how your water is, whether it's low or whether it's high. It will show me your BMI. It will show me your fat deposit, how it is. The fat deposit that is even in the internal organs. It will show me so many things regards you. So once you step on that, it will show me so many things that I'll be able to know how you are. So once I know how you are, there's a health questionnaire that I need to check on whether you have some terminal illness or how you are. So once we know all these, we'll take your measurement inch-wise and weight-wise. There will be a solution to apply on the problem areas. For women, the problem areas, it's the tummy, the thighs, the bicep, and some people have double chin. So once you take the measurement, there's a solution that you'll apply on the problem areas. Once you apply this solution, it will help to open up your clogged pores. So once your pores are being opened, any toxins that you have in the body will come out. Now there's some bandages that will be used to tie you up. The bandages are used so that they can contour or shape up the body. In that, within the first session, you can lose from 6 to 14 inches. As in within the first session, you'll feel more lighter, you'll feel more rejuvenated, and actually you can be able to fit well on an outfit that couldn't fit you well. Yes, that is just within the first session. Though you are losing inch-wise, not weight-wise. As we said, you are what you eat. So within the first session, we are going to lose inch-wise and to firm the body. Then after we do the first session, this is a journey that you are starting, yes? So after we do the detox, because it's kind of a detox that is being done that helps to take out all the toxins that you have in the body. Because actually we can't start the treatment when you still have your toxins. We have to detoxify so that we can start doing the cavitation. So we have different stages. So within the first session, we detoxify, whereby you lose inch-wise. After the first session, we'll make a program depending on how you are, depending on how your layers are of the fat. So after we do the detox, we'll make a program whereby you'll be coming in for the breaking down of the fat deposit. With the breaking down of the fat deposit, we are using the cavitation machine. The cavitation machine will help to liquidify the fat deposit. So we concentrate just on the problem areas. And I've said for men, they have the tummy, they have the love handles, they have the double chin. For women, we have the tummy, we have the thighs, we have the bicep, and we have the tires on the side. So we will just concentrate on the problem areas. This machine will help to liquidify the fat deposit, which will come out naturally like waste byproduct. So after breaking down the fat deposit, we have to turn up the body in that when you lose inch-wise, you won't be wobbly. You know, it's good for you to be big and firm, rather than to be skinny and your skin is jelly. Yes.
So these procedures are non-invasive?
Invasive,
like,
yes.
Yeah, there's no cutting of anything?
No. We are just using natural product. Then we advise, you see, you can't spend your lifetime at my place in the clinic. So once we cut down on the fat deposit, once you achieve your goal, we have to teach you on how you are meant to have your food, because you are actually what you eat. As in, once we are through with you, you'll be able to maintain whatever you'll achieve. Yes.
There are people who advertise. I'm sure most of us have seen, you know, different adverts when you're scrolling on your phone and so on, where people are advertising pills.
Yes.
Pills that can, you know, lose that belly. How effective are those pills? Are most of these pills, and just how safe are they? Because there are those that would say, you know, with having the pill within a week, you lose the belly fat and so on and so forth. So
okay,
how
what
effective
I can say, I won't fight anyone. What I can say is, okay, now with the pill, one should know how you are, because you can't just take a pill and you don't know what you're taking. Like when you are sick, you go to the hospital for them to know what and what you need to have. So you can't just take any tablet or any kind of liquid not knowing what you're taking. So I always advise someone, know what you're taking before you take it in. Then you should not you should not be like, you want to lose the tummy within a day, yet it has taken you years to be the person that you are. Honestly, I don't advise that.
Yeah, because there are pills, there are also teas.
Yes.
You know, there are
Okay,
teas that
you see,
are-
there's kind of some green tea that is being given. But you see, with the green tea, it curbs the appetite. But still, when you're taking the green tea, you should know what kind of green tea you're taking. Because it's just only for curbing the appetite. Yes.
Yeah.
And you see, you can't forever be taking the green tea. Yes.
There's also some advice that is normally given that if you want to lose the belly fat, you can work on taking warm water with lemon every single morning. How effective is that?
Those are just myths.
That's a myth.
It is,
Yeah.
honestly, because even if you take hotter, how do you expect the hot water?
With lemon.
Lemon is very much okay. But you see, how do you expect the hot water to break down the fat deposit? It's not possible. That's just a myth. It's just like the way you work out and you say because you are sweating, you've lost a lot of fat. That's just a myth. Because like now, when you are sweating, like when you put on jackets and you sweat, are you losing weight? It's the warmth.
Yeah.
The body temperature have changed. So there is no way you can tell me, because you've been running up and down and you are sweating, you've lost anything. You've not lost anything. It's the body temperature that have changed. Yes. Have you ever thought of it? Have you ever thought of it?
Well, not necessarily, but you've mentioned that as a myth, you know, the one for taking warm water in the morning with lemon in it will help to break down the fat. So maybe what are some other myths and misconceptions that you would love to mention about, you know, people's perceptions on the belly fat?
People talk about taking the lemons, taking the hot water. There are so many myths, putting on, like now, some people like women, we are always on corset.
Yeah.
We are ever in corset. And you know, when you're in corset, your tummy will get in. But once you take out the corset, the tummy is just going to bounce back.
Yeah. Now that you've brought up the issue of the corset, I actually had a question on it. So does the corset help in reducing the belly, or it's just for you looking good when you're putting on this particular dress?
It's
then
just holding the tummy.
Does
You should
it not
even try
help?
to hold the tummy on your own.
Yeah.
Without putting on the corset. Because the minute that you take out the corset, the tummy will fall down.
Does it not help over time when you put on the corsets over time?
You're
Does it
just uncomfortable for nothing. You're just uncomfortable for nothing. It doesn't help at all. You are just holding it for the time being. But yeah, just consider it. You're just holding it on. But when you take it out, the tummy will just fall down.
All right, so you had mentioned the corset, which is also, which is as a myth. I cut you while you were continuing with mentioning some of the misconceptions on the belly fat. And yeah,
we talk of the corset, we talk of the hot water, the lemon water. It's good in the morning because it helps in digestion, the lemon water. But don't take it with the idea of you're going to lose your weight, because it actually affects even the gum of your teeth if you take it too much. Yes.
it actually erodes
Yes.
the tooth. All right. So there are people who go for liposuction. You know, you go under the knife.
Yes.
What's your take
We have
on
to
that?
be very, I always say, you didn't gain this tummy within a day, honestly. It has taken you time to be the person that you are. So I always advise people, just lose your tummy naturally. Even the things of taking the balloon, it's just to curb your appetite. You see, with the program that we have, you'll be able to curb your appetite forever, even without anything in you. It's all in mind. If you think that you're hungry, you'll be hungry. It's all in mind. I believe in that. Eat when you're hungry. Don't eat because you have seen the food. And then check on your portion. Yes.
Yeah. But the liposuction is still okay.
Okay, I always say I'm not fighting anyone, but I always say that it can be good on you, but it might not be good on my side. I mean, it might have some negative effect on you, and to me it has some positive effect. So we react differently.
Amaliza.
We react differently.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's take a break and then we come back and finish up with this conversation.
Okay.
kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu. Labda ni TB ni ugonjwa wa kweli, ukipimwa matibabu yapo utapona. Daktari kushauri tumia dawa kwa nidhamu, elimu tupashane, tupige vita TB. Mwa TB waishi poa.
Kiongozi wetu sasa ana nafuu. Tusikubali roho mbaya, tabia mbaya na nia mbaya kuchukua nafasi mbele yetu.
Kaa karibu na babako wakati wote. Mimi nitafanya vovote livyo. Ni moe mimi.
Hii pete inaniagiza ichunge.
Cha madhara, umesikia? Mimi sina baba.
Masakaya, aren't you the one with the flowers? Let real men make money. You shall get your time. Madam Kamene, please keep your sweetheart company there.
So, you think putting a flower on top of his desk is going to sort your issues, eh?
Yes, of course, why not? I saw it in a movie that when you want to apologize to your loved one, you buy them a flower, and it is very cute and romantic.
Young man, confirm your opinion and your comments to yourself. I refuse to let myself accept that we will lose today.
Stop nagging me. But if you continue like this, I'm going to swap seats. Okay? I'll get somebody else to sit here.
All right, and we are back. Our topic of discussion right now is on types of belly fat and how to lose it. And before we wind up with this conversation, Nelly, I can't finish without talking about baby fat, because for most women, they've maintained their body so well for the longest, and then the minute they get to deliver, then now they have this pot belly, you know, baby fat. What's your take on the baby fat, and maybe how can one work on managing it, and how long can it take to like reduce it and you get to go back to your...
Okay, it depends on how you got your baby, whether it was normal delivery or whether it was CS. So it's kind of like within 6 months, if it's baby fat, within 6 months it should be completely gone. Yes, within 6 months.
You said it depends on how you got your baby. So for the 6 months is whether you had the baby naturally or via CS?
For both, within 6 months, the tummy should be back. Within 6 months. But still, you have to eat well. Not eating quite a lot of food, because you see, once you deliver, you don't even get full. You just eat and feel nothing. So it depends. You still have to take food, enough food, not overeating. Even if you don't have enough milk, don't take a lot of the black beans, the porridge, just take enough. What I believe in, even if you don't have milk, even if you overeat, you won't have that milk. So just eat enough food and healthy food so that you can sustain your milk for the baby. Yes, and a lot of water.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So for someone who's been watching and following up on this conversation and would love to maybe know more about these procedures that you were talking about that would help lose the belly fat naturally for someone who already has accumulated fat, where do they find you?
Okay, we are basically based in Hurlingham at Chakakot. So if one is coming from town, you get to Kencom, take bus number 46, alight at Chaka. You'll see a black gate written in white, Chakakot. So we are in Chakakot, office number 4. If you can't make it to reach us, you can call me through this number so that I can advise you more and so that you can know what is the way forward. So my number is 0722-874-317. 0722 874-317.
All right. I will allow you to give your final remarks.
What I can say, people who are already overweight, we are there. I've given out my number so that they can reach me. Then I can be able to help them. For people who are not big, they just check on the portion of their food, take a lot of water, and do a lot of, you see, like nowadays, people don't do any exercise. So in case you need anything, you always call a motorbike, bring for me this. You should walk.
Yeah.
So we do some physical exercise and check on our eating habit. People who are already overweight, people who have their berries, my number is 0722-874-317. I can be able to assist them.
All right. Thank you so
very
much. All right. That was Nelly Kuria, who is a nutritionist, and our topic of conversation was on the type of belly fats and what to do to lose it. I am sure that if you were someone who was looking to lose it, maybe you've had or you've gotten to take a thing or two from this conversation. If you're looking to maintain your belly, then you know what to do. Now we end this conversation, but remember that today we get to celebrate World Environmental Day, and that is the discussion that I will be coming back with in just a moment. Don't go too far.
Kawathe, Kangundo district in what is now Machakos County. In 1941, Ngutu went to the local Kawathe District Education Board School for his primary and secondary education. From an early age, Ngutu had a strong desire to serve in the disciplined and uniformed forces. He was recruited in 1966 while in his mid-20s and went to Kiganjo Police Training College in Nyeri. He worked at various stations across the country and rose through the ranks to the position of Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations. Joseph Kimeu Ngutu was a police officer turned politician and had to fit in the shoes of mercurial politician and freedom fighter Paul Joseph Ngei. Ngutu was the beneficiary of Ngei's fall from power when he was finally forced to resign from his cabinet post and relinquish his Kangundo parliamentary seat in 1991 after being declared bankrupt by the High Court of Kenya. As soon as Ngei was declared bankrupt, Ngutu declared his interest in contesting the seat once it was declared vacant. He had retired as Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Nyeri-based Kiganjo Police Training College. He contested the seat in the subsequent by-election and won, becoming the second occupant of the seat since independence. He was appointed Minister for Labour, a position he held for about a year and a half until 1992 multi-party elections, in which he lost the seat to a political greenhorn, Joseph Wambua Mulusia, who ran on a Democratic Party ticket. The party was led by Mwai Kibaki. 5 years later, Ngutu made a dramatic comeback. In the 1997 elections, he managed to win back the Kangundo seat. Ngutu once again became Minister for Labour, where he stayed for the next 5 years until the 2002 general election, in which he lost his seat. Some of the projects credited to Ngutu included the construction of health centres, Kawithe Secondary School and coffee processing factories. He also encouraged farmers in agriculture potential areas to start coffee plantations. Ngutu worked as minister for just about a year before the 2002 general election, when he lost his seat to Moffat Maize, who contested via the little-known Sisi Kwa Sisi party. Jackie Wimbiru, The Cabinet. Born in March 1948, Nyaga graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics and political science from the University of Nairobi in 1970. He proceeded to the United States for a master's degree in management, finance and management option. He then worked at the First National Bank of Chicago, which is part of today's JP Morgan and Chase Bank, New York. Kenya Bus Service, McRae and Smith Accountants and British American Tobacco Kenya Limited. Between 1987 and 1991, he was Chief Executive Officer of the national carrier Kenya Airways, in government of President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga. But this time he was a member of the Orange Democratic Movement Party's Pentagon, a summit of the party leadership. He was also the Chancellor of the Cooperative University of Kenya from 2016 to 2017. Between 2013 and 2017, he served as Presidential Advisor in charge of Northern Corridor integration projects before he resigned to run for president as an independent candidate. He came a distant third in the August 8, 2017 general election that was annulled by the Supreme Court over irregularities and malpractices. He also lost in the subsequent repeat presidential election. Nyaga wrote a number of books, including An Africa's Minister's Lesson for Cooperatives. He died on December 11, 2020. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
And we are back. As I had mentioned, today we get to commemorate World Environmental Day. This is a day that was first celebrated on the 5th of June of the year 1973 and has been celebrated over the years. And today is no different, but we will get to know how we are commemorating it right here in the country. And our topic of conversation today is on preserving our planet, which is very important for us to do, because this is what houses us. This is what hosts each and every one of us, from the plants, ourselves, you know, humans, animals, talk about it, even the microorganisms. This is what houses us. And it is very important for us to know of the ways to get to preserve our planet. And joining me to talk about this beautiful day that is World Environmental Day is one Dr. Young on my far left, who is the founder and chairman of Go Green Foundation, and on my immediate left is Dr. David, not David.
Yes,
Dr. David Mdavida, who is a science researcher at the Go Green Foundation. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we are celebrating World Environmental Day. What does this day entail?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me introduce myself.
All right.
I'm Dr. David Mdavida. I'm a lead researcher and also a lead scientist, whereby in our organization, Go Green, we have several programs that we run. We have children that we teach from the young age, and we want them to to understand the issues around nature, how they relate to nature, and especially what nature does to them when they don't understand how they can relate to it, and the effects that come with it if they mess around with the nature. Yeah, so we have a big team. I'm not alone. We are a team of 7, and we are always doing much of research, not only in plants, but also we go even to the sea, and we do research inside the sea. So we take care of science in general, and we see what plants do to the human beings and their lives, and how to better their lives. In terms of climate change, how to deal with the mitigation of the effects. We also go to the effects where we have to teach people on how to change their livelihood. For instance, people who depend on charcoal burning for their livelihood, we try to change their lifestyles and teach them the ways of agriculture and such alike. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Taylor, I will allow you to also introduce yourself the proper way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm glad also to be, hosted today. My name is Dr. Ang Taylor, also the co-founder of the Go Green Foundation. Our main vision or mission objective is to foster environmental education. Being to the fact that today is, we are commemorating what actually was invented in 1973 through the United Nations, body of, committee, the executive committees who came up with the mission to educate society to be more active in sustainable development goals. So today we are actually within our vision Go Green, which was actually founded in 2011. Sorry. Our main vision is to foster environmental education. So we had already planned that today we had an event in Kamulu, Kasarani. Yes, it's the biggest event actually. It's the talk of the town. Most of people are flooding there.
Yeah.
It's in a very beautiful place of Kamulu. There's a waterfall there. And what we're doing there, we're trying to restore the mother nature around there. The more of the indigenous trees like this one that we came with in the studio here. The place was very beautiful, but it seems like, the human nature of destroying the environment, that is destroying that area. So there's a lot of settlement. So we decided this year, World Environmental Day, we are going to commemorate it there at Kamulu. So we have an event there, which actually our women rep, Honorable Esther Pasari, is one of our guests there. So being that it's a World Environmental Day, we have come to demonstrate what we do in schools to plant trees like these ones as beneficial in terms of like the fruit trees that we have over here that I will mention maybe later if we go on. So our main intention is to educate our society to preserve Mother Nature. People do something. At the end of the day, it's from the soil that we can be able to get our well-being and know that we are one with nature. Yes.
All right, we'll get into the different plants that you've come in with rather later. But maybe if you can just get to tell us, what are some of the most pressing issues, affecting our environment at the moment?
Generally, carbon emissions coming from the human activities, daily human activities like, the engines that run on fuel. Like I said, things like the trees that are cut, those people who are living in places where they cannot afford, because of poverty, they cannot afford to use like some other means of cooking, like other fuels like LPG gas that we normally use to cook at home. And so we have such effects mostly because of carbon emissions coming from such activities.
Yeah. And just what can we do, to protect and preserve our environment from the community level? Like what do I, as an individual, need to do?
Yep. What we need to do is just get out of comfort zone. Because, to nurture a tree to this kind of a state, it's not an easy thing. It requires a lot of, dedication and also passionate. And a lot of people actually don't want to get out of comfort zone. They think that to have a guava like that one, when it's ripened, it's just, a walk on the park. So number one thing people need to know that, first of all, get out of a comfort zone, begin to, come up with your own seedling if you have a land, because mostly in Africa we live in a paradise, like the way you can see the image behind us. But most of people live that paradise, go and looking for money in towns or even Europe or so on like that. So what I can say is that for us to be able to restore this mother nature and protect it, we need to utilize our natural resources that it's available. Number one, the soil that we have, the land, we develop them purposely in terms of agriculture and also forestation. To eliminate the carbon emission, because it's too much right now what we are doing to ourselves. The same trees is the one that is actually eliminated carbon and giving us fresh oxygen. But you see that people, because of the greediness, just destroy it. And it's so sad. So that's why we are trying also to see if we can all get involved. If it's planting trees, get involved. Get your hand dirty.
What are the dangers of just, wasting these natural resources that we have?
Dangers of, if we go back to the saying of the late Wangari Maathai, when you mess around with nature, it doesn't forgive you. So what we normally tell people is that it's about the little things that we do. Taking care of our environment, where we are. Like, for instance, the normal human behavior whereby people litter without thinking what that litter will end up doing to the environment, and so we will have the negative effects. For instance, plastic, when we throw plastics without thinking, they end up in the sea, and we affect a lot of ecosystem in the sea. So it's the normal thing that people need to do. We need to change our behavior. We need to be responsible. We can't afford to be responsible. And with that, I think we can make the world a better place.
And that's what we're looking, at, all of us. So the theme for this year is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. Tell me more about that theme.
Yes, you saw what exactly actually. Thank you for actually, grasping to the main theme actually, because this is the whole topic.
It's the topic for this year.
You saw the other day when we had actually the natural disaster of floods. So many places they were unable actually to handle the magnitude of the soil erosion. In so many places, landsliding even to a capacity of killing people. We lost lives. So trees is still also, helping us to avoid such kind of things, because when the root gets deep to the soil, it also protects you against, soil erosion. So people need to understand that this is a great day, that we don't need to sit in the house and maybe continue to watch TV, like, doing this kind of a thing. We need to go out there and plant more trees, most of them that can be able to protect us against soil erosion. And then also you look at the temperature itself, it's very unpredictable. In most cases, we have already seen that certain places that used to experience winters on a certain time, you find that now it's for a long deal before actually we come to that winter itself. So the high temperatures, which is very unpredictable, it keep on flicking because our own attitude that we need to change. If you look, I have something here, look deep into the forest. What can you see?
Look deep into nature, and you will better understand.
Exactly. So meaning that nature is the very lungs of us, and the very lungs of, the all living beings. And it's very sad that we as a human beings, we don't care about taking this nature. Yeah.
All right, let's take a commercial break, but don't you go too far. We'll be back to continue with this conversation.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu.
Joel was human. My dad is ruthless.
So how far can he go?
I'm not betraying my family.
My dad had property worth tens of millions. Come and see hundreds of millions, and Kaikara knew about it.
Kiongozi wetu sasa ana nafuu. Tusikubali roho mbaya, tabia mbaya na nia mbaya kuchukua nafasi mbele yetu.
Kaa karibu na babako wakati wote. Mimi nitafanya vovote livyo. Yani nitahakikisha mwanamke anayetetemesha hii funzi nuru ni moe mimi.
Hii pete inaniagiza ichunge.
Cha madhara, umesikia? Mimi sina baba.
Welcome back, and we are glad that you are still with us right here on Good Morning Kenya. We are talking on how to preserve our environment on this beautiful day, which is the World Environmental Day. Now, I can see you've come with different trees. I am not good with plants at all. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So if you can just take us through some of the plants that you've come with and their importance maybe to the environment.
Yes.
Yeah, you can begin with the one on the far left. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
So like from this side we have the passion. This passion over here is actually the natural indigenous passion, which normally actually grew up in any kind of weather. It's all weather. And it's really very nutritious because it's also medicinal at the same time.
Okay.
So we actually advise that if possibly maybe can be planted in schools to help children also, because it's also helping on issues to do with eye also too. Like children who have issues with eye, sometimes, most of them, when they chew this one, they can be able to get their sight more back clear. Yeah, a lot of children actually are working on glasses because the poor diet that they're giving them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing also happening also to guava. Guava also, the same things help also increase the immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I suggest we can plant more of these fruits in schools.
You said it's called the passion.
Yeah, this is a passion.
Passion fruit.
This is a passion fruit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So then, these are ficus, which is actually indigenous trees. This tree is most biggest. Some of them we had actually in town here. That they got.
All right, I think we've lost your sound for a bit, so we can just maybe get back to you later. Can you go on with telling us maybe some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talked about the guava. So
Yes.
this is the guava.
Yes.
Yeah, you can just get back, then they'll check your sound in a bit.
All right. I'll generally talk about trees that we have. Most of them are actually medicinal by nature. And very nutritious. Like for instance, guava. Guava leaves, actually, one can do very good tea that actually, because it has a lot of vitamin C. It has a lot of vitamin C, and it's also medicinal. It works very well with also digestion. Yeah, so another tree like avocado tree, it's also very nutritious. When we use like avocado, avocado is very good with the heart because of the respiratory. Because of the cardiovascular system. Your heart will pump blood very well when you use avocado as a fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the current government right now is really big on tree planting. We've already had 2 public holidays whereby it's completely, entirely set aside to just plant trees. You know, maybe what role do governments and policies have in order to ensuring that we conserve the environment, and how important is it for also them to come in and join hands on such initiatives?
Actually, already we must actually thank the government of Kenya, because already we are really collaborating with them. Like we have partners like KFC and others, like the government of the Ministry of Environment, and we are working with them to to allocate us land that is affected already, like for instance in the forest. And we get into partnership with the corporate society. Like for instance, I'm just going to use let's say KBC. You could want to do tree planting, but you don't have the personnel. I mean, your work is to do journalism, so you come and partner with us, and then we do the work for you. And that is how we are working with partners who are in corporate society. Yeah.
Who else has come in to partner with you on this?
We have had many, like Equity. We have had, like I said, KFC. We have had several of them. I wouldn't mention the whole list. It's quite a lot. But I can say we still need more, because we really need to partner with many people so that we can reach not only a certain part of Kenya, because like right now we have so many CBOs, and that is actually the magic that we are having, that we have like roots everywhere in the country, and that's how we collaborate with them. Like we have a QR system whereby anybody can tap in and get a seedling from us, and then they plant, and then we get to collaborate with them and make sure that we make sure that they make sure they look after the tree and grow it. It's not only about planting, because you can plant and then they
just
all
forget
die.
about it.
Exactly.
You've planted and then you go about your business.
Yeah. So we need more partners to come in and help us to expand.
Yeah, and even when we're talking about ensuring that we plant more trees, we look into growing the trees, not just planting the trees, as you're saying.
Exactly.
All right, I'll get back to you, Mr. Tello, now, and you are explaining to us some of the plants that you've come with. You had talked about the passion plant, which is very medicinal as well. We talked about the guava, which is right next to me. So if you can just go on with the rest of the trees.
So I was talking about the ficus, which is actually an indigenous. This tree actually is very good for a shade. It hosts a shade for species like the birds. Birds love it a lot. Yes, for nesting on it. In fact, it's the one of the favorite for the birds. And suddenly, because of its ability to absorb electromagnetic radiation and also higher carbon, so most of, like, let me say, hotels are using it actually for decoration. Also, like, they're petting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so by petting this one in small pots, it's also hurt me through, you know, the Wangari Maathai thing. So I will not actually advise that people pet these figures. They should actually plant it to make it freely so that the birds
What's the difference between petting a plant and planting a plant?
Petting is like the same way you have your own wild animal that need to be actually in the wilderness. You're hurting them. They're feeling really bad. They don't have a space to free themselves. So this tree is a giant tree, in short. So a giant tree doesn't need to be actually potted in a pot.
Okay.
It's according to the environmental justice and law, it doesn't allow that. But here we are in Africa, we can do anything, you know. Yeah.
All right, let's go on.
So next we have umbrella tree, which is also really good on hosting people in terms of, you know, shade. Yeah, it can host around, the giant one can host around 100 and above people around it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this grows to be really,
but
really
it
big.
goes, yeah,
Huge.
it becomes huge.
Yeah.
But it grows slowly, it takes years, the same as to this one. It has to be like around 15 years to 20 years. That's when you can be able now to see, wow. Yeah, and if actually it gets to near the, this one, the river, this one also can be in a dry place. This one also too can be in a dry place. Yeah, but mostly this one, the umbrella tree, can be in a dry places and it's not going to be affected. The next is also this one, which is actually now the cardonut. Cardonut is actually has a nut. Yeah, the animal species like monkeys loves a lot, you know, indulging onto it. Even human beings. When we were children, we used to grasp this cardonut on the wilderness when we go, you know, grazing cows. So it has a very nutritious and medicinal kind of a nut, more than even the normal nuts.
Okay.
If you eat this one, I think one bite of this, the fruits, the nuts, is like around, if I'm not wrong, it's more than 25 calories per nut. So imagine if you chew, like you can chew like around, you know, a scoop of 500 grams, then you're going to have a lot of calories in your body. And then it's also very nutritious in terms of also, you know.
You say it's the hazelnut?
Cardonut.
Cardonut, okay.
Yeah, cardonut.
Okay.
So the cardonut also is also anti-cancerous.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still medicinal. I would like, as the Go Green, we do actually advise schools to plant it more, so that during its fruity season, children can indulge on it. You have to smash it on a stone, then you can, you know, get to the nuts.
Okay.
So it's very nutritious, it's really good and can protect you against cancers. Because our body replaces cells in a day, you know. Yeah. So the next one is bishop, this one here.
That's called bishop.
Yeah, this one is called bishop. Like, I don't know, if you're a
Interesting
bishop,
name
you're
for a
there,
tree.
this is you. And we are planting you today on World Environmental Day. Bishop is also really good. It's actually anti-electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, you know, like here, for you to be able to shoot all this, there's an electromagnetic radiation that, you know, penetrates within that atmosphere. So bishop is really good to protect you against electromagnetic radiation. So you can plant it around your compound. So that
for this one, you'd advise us to pet it. We can pot it, you know? Like we can get a pot and plant it and put it somewhere in the studio.
Yeah, this one, but with a big pot, you can have it. But also it will need also sunlight. That's the funny thing. Those ones that actually you can have outside, but this one will need a little bit of sunlight.
Okay, so you can't put it inside the house.
No, inside the house, no, not possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then again, we have the avocado, my favorite. This is the hash avocado, which actually we grafted it. So we would like us to request that everybody around your compound, you can have this avocado, because more of these species actually right now they're exporting it to the Europe, Asia, and so on like that. So why can't we actually also, you know, protect these seedlings and have it for ourselves? Yeah, which is still also is anti-cancerous, it's anti-inflammatory, it's a food, honestly, it's a whole food. Yeah, so I would like to request that, you know, anybody there, plant avocado today in World Environmental Day, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was the guava.
This is now the final one, the guava. Wow. The guava here, a lot of people you know very well too, when we used to also graze cows. Every time we rush to the guava tree. And one of the things with the guava, it's also anti-respiratory and also even anti-inflammatory. When you have a problem with the stomach issues, gases colliding, you can even boil the leaves of a guava. Yeah, and then drink it. And then that issue immediately it's cured. So a lot of things actually we can cure them when you protect care of Mother Nature. But it seems like we are so careless and we think that this is useless. And then, you know, we are suffering from lack of knowledge. Guava, we need more guava. In schools, everywhere, in churches, please get a guava. If you need more seedlings, you can contact us. We can get you.
Okay. Okay, you'll give us your contacts on or where we to find you. It's clear that when we take care of nature, it takes care of us.
Exactly.
You know, because almost all these plants that you've touched on, they are medicinal. Now, just to know, maybe for someone who's in the house today and they feel like they want to also commemorate this day by planting a tree, what are some of the trees that one can plant in their homesteads, having in mind that most of us live in cities and so we don't have enough space? So maybe what plants can we pot and plant in pots just around our small spaces?
There are a couple of so many plants that actually maybe you can plant, and I can say that you can have a pot of things to do, like with a spider plant, which is also still anti-electromagnetic radiation. You can try also a flower of like rosemary. You can try anything to do with hibiscus flowers. They're really good. You can pot them. There's a couple of numbers of trees that you can pot, but I can just give you those three, which I think maybe you can try your best as you can, so that you don't deviate from which one is the best one. Spider is really good because it protects you against electromagnetic radiation, but it also gives you a lot of oxygen. It's an indoor plant. Secondly, you can try also snake plant. Snake plant can, if you like people who live on Okambani, snakes can pop in at any given time, and you're like, what? So maybe you can also have a snake plant inside the house. They are also ants repellents. They can repel also things to do like mosquitoes. If you have a snake plant in the house, people didn't know that. It can also repel against mosquitoes. Yeah. So amazing. You need to have them. So it's repelling against the smell of it. It has a smell that it's irritating a snake, but a human being, it doesn't irritate you. So everything also operates with a certain frequency that either it's accommodative to them or not. So they decide either to be there or not. So if you have a snake plant, it's good for oxygen and other things. So it can be indoor. You don't need to worry like, where am I going to put it? As long as you have a small pot. All right.
So where can people find you, maybe on social media, so that they can get to know what seedlings are best to plant where, and how to get the seedlings as well? Where can they find you?
Yeah, we actually on Facebook, on TikTok. Our website is available, www.gogreen-foundation.
This is your camera?
Yes. -foundation.org. Yes, our website is www.gogreen-foundation.org. Yeah, so you can find us there. If you are willing to partner with us, and maybe we can work together on terms of development activities, we are looking forward actually to have you, because most of the thing that actually we are suffering from right now is an anchor donor or an anchor supporter who is actually 100% that we love your vision and we see what exactly you're doing. We are here to amplify it.
Okay.
And this is also going back even to our president, William Ruto. He has done a lot to come up with this, all this, you know, pushing society to plant trees and, you know, take care of Mother Nature.
Okay.
We want to give thanks to them a lot, including even the military brothers that we are working with them in terms of, you know, workshops and seedlings growing. It's not easy. All these guys, they're really doing great.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe to you, Dr. Mdavida, as we get to wind up with the conversation, how can conservation and development coexist? You know that right now we are living in an era where we have a lot of developments happening. We have industries left, right, center, and they have these emissions that could be really poisonous to the environment and to us as human beings as well. So how can we coexist in the proper way?
I think I can say it's about how we must accept the fact that where we are right now, we are not in good times, because towards, you know, there's so much that is happening. The ozone layer has been damaged, and so we expect so much to go wrong if we are not going to quickly fix, you know, Mother Nature. And how do we coexist? That we after we accept that these things are not working properly, then we have to change our behavior.
Okay.
Yes, and then another thing is that I wanted to talk.
Wind up.
Yes, as I wanted
to finish.
Yes, I wanted to talk about insisting on calling on partners, whereby, like, for instance, like right now we have a project that we need like 100 million to push PVE, whereby we need to go to every school and be able to make them become aware of what is happening to the climate change, and then we insist on teaching them on how to plant trees and grow them.
All right.
Yeah.
You've shared your where people can find you on social media. I am sure that they will get to check on you, and then you can get the conversation going over there. Thank you so much for coming through, and thank you for the good job that you're doing. I hope we're going to be able to join you at Kamulu. Now, this is where we put a cup.
Yeah. Looking forward to see you there in Kamulu. Right. Everybody, you're most welcome. Yeah.
All right, this is where we put a cup to Good Morning Kenya. For today, right now, allow me to hand you over to the National Assembly. Goodbye.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu.
Si tumekula kiapo? Yes. Ningekuwa kweli mimi ni mtu wa kwenda nikitangaza. Si ningekuwa nimetangaza kuhusu bwana yako. Mimi ndio nilikuambukisha hiyo ugonjwa.
Si wewe, lakini kwa nini utangaze? Why should you?
Nani alipelekea bibi yake ugonjwa?
Bingwa TB, TB waishi poa.
Bingwa TB, TB waishi poa.
Je,
una malimbikizi ya ushuru? Mamlaka ya utozaji ushuru nchini KRA inakupa msamaha wa adhabu na riba ya ushuru kufikia tarehe 31 Disemba 2022 kupitia Tax Amnesty Program. Ili kujua jinsi ya kupata msamaha, jiunge nasi kwenye maonyesho ya barabarani kote nchini ukiletewa na KRA kwa ushirikiano na KBC. Pia tutakuelekeza jinsi ya kujaza fomu za ushuru na kujisajili kwa e-Teams, mfumo mpya unaokusaidia kutoa risiti za kidijitali kwa njia rahisi. Ijumaa tarehe 7 Juni tutakuwa katika kaunti ya Mombasa, maeneo ya Sauti House, Moi Avenue, Cannon Tower, CMC, Ganjoni, Likoni na viunga vyao. Jumamosi tarehe 8 Juni tutazuru kaunti ya Kilifi, maeneo ya Mtwapa, Kilifi Market, Gede, Matsangoni, Malindi Town, Malindi Stadium na viunga vyao. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
A very good morning to you and welcome to today's broadcast. This is the Parliamentary Broadcast Unit in collaboration with KBC, and my name is Angela Cheror. Welcome to today's morning session, being the third session of the morning sitting. The session that is expected to commence in 3 minutes' time. Today being Wednesday, a day allocated for business, not sponsored by the majority or minority party, or business sponsored by a committee. Members of Parliament.